Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something pretty core to tech, product management.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look, we know the basics, right? Backlogs, roadmaps, that kind of thing.
Sure, the day-to-day stuff.
But the PMs who really stand out, they're the ones navigating, well, the fog, making big calls when things aren't clear. It often comes down to these really tough questions.
Totally. Not hypotheticals, but like real-world dilemmas. We've actually picked out 5 of these kinds of questions.
Right. And they're not brain teasers.
Mm.
They're designed to see how you handle ambiguity, high stakes, all that messy stuff.
Exactly. They really show you the core skills you need.
So our mission here is to unpack these 5, figure out what they're really asking, and maybe pull out some insights, for anyone facing tricky decisions.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Let's kick off with a classic tension. Vision versus ROI.
Yes. The question usually goes something like this. How do you prioritize when you have conflicting roadmap items? One gives you immediate ROI, but maybe low strategic value. The other aligns with the long-term vision, but it's uncertain and the payoff is way down the line.
Okay, yeah. That's the heart of it, isn't it? Quick wins versus the big, maybe risky future bet.
Pretty much. Do you juice this quarter's numbers? Or do you invest in something potentially game-changing, but, well, it might not pan out for a year or more?
It feels like you have to wear a different hat, almost. Like an investor.
That's a great way to put it. Like managing a portfolio, you wouldn't go all in on speculative stocks, right?
Oh, way.
Nor would you only buy super safe bonds with tiny returns. A good roadmap needs a mix.
So the question is really testing your strategic thinking, your ability to make those trade-offs.
Exactly. And can you explain your reasoning? Why this over that in this specific situation? It tests your roadmap skills too, how you communicate this balance.
And business sense, I guess.
Yeah.
You need to see beyond the immediate cash. What's the potential market value? What's the cost if you don't do the long-term thing?
Precisely. And honestly, leadership courage. It's often easier to sell the short-term win. The numbers are right there.
Yeah, defending the fuzzy long-term goal is harder.
It takes conviction. You got to bring people along. Maybe a key takeaway is thinking in horizons, like dedicating some resources to Horizon 1, quick wins, and some to Horizon 3, the big bets, but being clear why.
Makes sense. Okay, let's move to the second tough one. I like the title. Design without dollar signs.
Right. So this one asks, how do you quantify the ROI of UX design improvements? Things that don't directly make money, but you know they boost retention or satisfaction.
Oh, this is a constant battle, isn't it? Everyone says they value good design, but then someone asks for the spreadsheet.
Yeah, show me the money. For like tweaking an onboarding flow, it's tough.
So how do you even approach that?
Well, you got to connect the dots indirectly. Think about jobs to be done. Does better UX help users get their core task done faster or easier?
Okay.
And then how does that connect to business value? Maybe a smoother checkout cuts down cart abandonment. Right. That hits the bottom line.
Okay. So find the friction, then trace the impact downstream. Like maybe fewer confused users means fewer support calls.
Exactly. Or maybe better usability leads to higher task completion. You measure that and then link that to maybe reduced churn or higher lifetime value because satisfied users stick around.
So it's about combining different types of evidence, user feedback, and metrics like completion rates.
Yes, it tests that synthesis skill, qualitative and quantitative. And it really shows if you're customer obsessed, do you believe that a good experience is good business?
You have to, really.
You do. And you need to speak the language of design metrics, but also translate it into business impact. Maybe the insight is focus on measuring how design changes user behavior,
Yep.
then connect that behavior to outcomes.
Got it. Okay, number 3, bandwidth battle.
The setup is usually engineering capacity is fixed. You're juggling multiple B2B integrations. How do you decide which ones to delay? And crucially, how do you do it without wrecking relationships or losing big deals?
Oof. Yeah, that sounds stressful. Limited devs, important clients, maybe a sales VP breathing down your neck.
It's a pressure cooker for sure. This tests prioritization under like maximum constraint. It's not just about a simple ranking.
So it's more than just which integration brings in the most revenue.
Oh, much more. You need a system, maybe a weighted scoring thing. Consider factors like strategic fit. How vital is this integration to our overall direction?
Okay, what else?
Well, relationship impact is huge. Is delaying this one going to seriously tick off a key partner? Technical complexity, how much effort is this really?
Mhm.
And dependencies, does pushing this one back stall three others?
Right, it's like a web of factors.
Yeah.
This sounds like it really tests your people skills, too.
Totally. Stakeholder management is key. How do you explain the why to someone who's not getting what they want right now?
Diplomacy is probably essential.
Absolutely. Finding ways to soften the blow, maybe offer alternatives. I think the key here is transparency. Have a clear framework for how you prioritize, explain it well, and stick to it. That builds trust, even when delivering bad news.
Makes sense. All right, let's tackle one that probably gives data-loving PMs nightmares. No data, no time.
Yeah, the question is, your data pipeline breaks. Analytics team is swamped. You have to make a critical product decision now. With little or no data, what do?
We all want to be data-driven, but yeah, sometimes the data just vanishes or isn't there yet.
Exactly. This forces you to lean on other things. This is where product intuition becomes critical, that gut feeling built from experience.
So relying on your deep understanding of the users, putting yourself in their shoes without the charts and graphs.
Pretty much. Going back to first principles, what core problem are we solving? What do we know about user pain points, even anecdotally?
Maybe doing some quick, dirty user research, like
Yeah.
grabbing a few people for quick chats.
Definitely. Even informal feedback is better than nothing. It tests your decisiveness under uncertainty. Sometimes you just have to make the call based on the best available qualitative info and your judgment. Waiting for perfect data might mean missing the window entirely.
So don't freeze up.
Right. Leverage intuition, empathy, know your core value prop, and make the call. Grit, really.
Okay, last one. This dives into the internal stuff. Politics meets platform.
The question. You're launching a platform feature. Awesome. But it might cannibalize revenue or focus from another team's core product. How do you manage the go-to-market, navigate the internal politics, and avoid, creating silos or turf wars?
The internal disruption dilemma. Innovating, but potentially stepping on colleagues' toes within your own company. Tricky.
Super tricky. It highlights that PM work isn't just outward-facing. You have to manage the organization, too. You need organizational savvy, understand the dynamics.
So rule one is probably
Yeah.
don't surprise them.
Definitely not. Engage early and often with that other team. Build bridges. You need to articulate the value not just for users, but for the whole company.
Frame it as a bigger win, maybe. Like, this unifies the experience, or it opens up this adjacent market.
Exactly. Find the win-win, even if it requires some negotiation. It tests your GTM planning. How do you launch smoothly internally? It tests negotiation influence.
Your ability to get people aligned even when their immediate interests seem threatened.
Precisely. Foster alignment through communication, show the strategic upside, involve them. It's about collaboration, even when there's inherent tension.
Wow. Okay, these 5 questions, they really paint a picture, don't they? High-level PM work is so much more than just features and sprints.
It really is. It's critical thinking, it's communication, it's strategy, it's handling ambiguity. It's very multifaceted. People skills are huge.
Yeah, and there are no simple right answers to these, are there? It's all about judgment and context.
Absolutely. And reflecting on these, whether you're a PM or not, anyone making tough calls can learn something about their own style.
Definitely. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Think about a tough decision you made recently. Which of these 5 scenarios feels most familiar?
Yeah, which one resonates? And what does that maybe tell you about your own approach? What might you tweak next time?
Good prompt. It's all about that continuous learning, right? Sharpening how we navigate the complex stuff.